In episode 5, Catherine decides, you know what, we'll give Noor till the end of the day to decide what to do, but if she doesn't go along with our plan, then we'll use it as leverage. We'll basically blackmail her and threaten to expose her to the ambassador. And that's something that Rose cannot figure out, how these people could do that to her. But Peter understands perfectly, because they can't let Foxglove get into the wrong hands. The problem is, Rose doesn't know what Foxglove is, because she doesn't have clearance for it, because she's a civilian. Rose, however, decides because of this, she's going to play devil's advocate. She asks them, okay, well, what happens if Noor gives you the information, but you take forever to get her family out of Iran and then she gets caught? What then? And the best that Peter can offer her is, let's hope that doesn't happen. Peter tells Catherine that he'll call Noor that night and present her with the options. And that disgusts Rose. But Rose is onto something, because when Noor returns back to work, she's so incredibly stressed out that it's noticeable. Not just to Javid, but to her friend as well. It forces Noor to lie and act like she's sick when she's not. She's just stressed. She, however, isn't the only one who's stressed. So is Rose. Her boss wants to talk about her future with the company. She was supposed to be back in California, but now she's going to have to go with a Zoom call. Her main focus at the moment, though, is what's going on with Noor. Noor, being a civilian, putting herself at risk like she has, Rose is siding with her. And when Peter gets back to the apartment, Rose pleads with Peter to do the right thing, try to get Noor's family out of Iran, which, by the way, is something they told Noor they were going to do. An exasperated Peter says, look, we're trying to get the CIA to expedite the process. But Rose reminds him it's the same CIA that he investigates in Night Action. Rose, though, works on him, and finally Peter just says, okay, I'll call Catherine and we'll try to figure something else out. The next day, Catherine has come up with a solution. It's a guy named Sami. He's been with Night Action for about 5 years. It's one of Catherine's best guys. They explain the hard situation they're in, and it's up to Sami to get into Iran and extract Noor's family, which isn't going to be easy. He's one guy, and this is an ill-prepared operation, but time is of the essence. Sami, by the way, is completely on board because he realizes that if he doesn't do it, it's going to leave Noor out to dry. Shortly after Sami agrees, Noor shows up and gets the good news that Sami will be going that night to get her family out of Iran. But what they need from Noor is information regarding the neighborhood, side streets, nosy neighbors, that sort of thing. Everything to make Sami's job easier for the next day. After this, they call Noor's mother and they tell her, pack your bags. Let your son know you're getting extracted. The one thing that Noor does request is to be in the room the next day when Sami is in Iran, so she gets word that Sami has her family safely on the plane. And they agree, reluctantly. Once Noor leaves, Sami has a question for Peter. It was a throwaway comment by Catherine about not losing another agent, and Sami wanted to know more details on that because it's clear that Peter is on edge about this situation, more so than Sami, who actually has to go into Iran. And Peter explains what happened in Bangkok. Sami gives Peter advice on how to handle a situation like that, and then he leaves because he's got to get ready to go to Iran. Peter heads back to the apartment where Rose was waiting. She had her meeting with the boss, and it actually went surprisingly well. While she thought that her job might be threatened, it's quite the opposite. He was pissed off, but after he actually looked at what Rose did to his code, he realized that he can make a boatload of money on this. Switch adverts from advertising to selling the product to government agencies around the world to basically monitor people. But that's not Rose's intention. And Rose does have a moral compass. So Rose, using her leverage, gets a raise and also wants an ethics board to look into the matter to make sure that government agencies aren't using this thing to spy on their people. They're using it for the right reasons. Peter then updates Rose on how his meeting went. But he also asks Rose, can you come tomorrow? Because it just seems like Noor's more comfortable with you around. And Rose has nothing to do, so yeah, sure, I'll be there. The next day is the day of the extraction, and it's got Noor completely on edge. When she shows up at work that day, it's all she can think about. Javid was nice enough to make her soup, but she doesn't care. She thanks him, but says, I got to get to a doctor's appointment. But that doctor's appointment's actually to go and wait by the phone to hear that her family is safe. Unfortunately, when that phone call does happen, there's an issue. Her brother doesn't want to go. And that's because her mom never told her brother that this was happening. And her brother, being stubborn, doesn't know who Sami is, doesn't want to go with him, doesn't want to leave his country. And Sami has to put Noor on the phone to explain, you need to go with this guy. But still, he's pushing back. He starts raising his voice. It causes an issue in the neighborhood. Neighbors get concerned. Police get called. There is an altercation, but Sammy is at least able to get Noor's mother and brother into the car as they head to the airport, but they're stopped by police. Sammy has to use his particular set of skills to take out the cops, but when he turns around, Noor's brother has a gun pointed at him, because Noor's brother has no interest in going to America. So much so that he shoots at Sammy, and Sammy's forced to shoot him, and Noor's brother dies. When the second phone call does come in, Peter answers and he gets the update from Sammy that the mother is on the plane, but the brother, he's not, because he's dead. Peter, though, realizing that this could be a big problem for getting the information from Noor that they need, lies to Noor. He tells her everything's good, your family's safe on the plane, in order to get that information. As for the people that originally tipped off Night Action, and I'm talking that guy in white and Solomon Vega, they have a meeting and they have a little bit of an interesting chat. After getting stabbed by Rose, Solomon Vega had to head to the doctors to get antibiotics. He did it, by the way, with his sister. His sister, worried about Solomon, pushed him to ask his boss for a raise, something he hadn't had in years. So he did that. By the way, he's not very good at asking for raises. He's pretty brutal about it. But they had a little downtime to kill until they met with an FBI informant. The reason they were meeting with that FBI informant was because they were looking into Peter Sutherland. And the FBI informant says, there's nothing on him. I mean, not recently. As of 10 months, the guy hasn't worked for the U.S. government. But Solomon Vega, the mystery man in white, they've learned that there was something about Peter Sutherland that happened at Camp David. So they asked the FBI informant to bring them papers on it, but the FBI informant tells them, there's nothing in here regarding Peter Sutherland. I looked. Though Solomon lets them know, we're convinced that he was there. We've heard it from a few sources. When they get back to the office, the mystery man in white says there's two possible scenarios here. Either Peter Sutherland is, in fact, working for the U.S. government, and it's with an agency we've never heard of, or he's working for another type of government. He then remembers, though, in Bangkok, he overheard Alice on the radio say, Night Action. They thought it was a call sign, but he wants Solomon Vega to look into it more. He also agrees to give Solomon Vega a 15% bump and a title, Vice President of Acquisitions. And that first acquisition he wants Solomon to make is Peter Sutherland.
Thank you so much for checking out this recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel and subscribing to my Patreon. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought it sucked. If you left a comment, I don't get back to you. I usually don't check the comments unless they're like a super comment. Also, if you don't see the next video up on the end screen, not to worry, it'll be up in a day or two. Thank you so much for checking out this recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel and subscribing to my Patreon. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought it sucked. If you left a comment, I don't get back to you. I usually don't check the comments unless they're like a super comment. Also, if you don't see the next video up on the end screen, not to worry, it'll be up in a day or two.